Yes, guys, Chelsea versus Aston Villa Premier League preview. Aston Villa haven't won in 7 matches under Unai Emery. Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. We are back. Brighton won, Southampton won last night. Brighton are second in the Premier League table. Liverpool versus Manchester City is the late kickoff after our match on Sunday, and Arsenal travel to West Ham. This weekend is a massive weekend in the Premier League season. And as Enzo Maresca has said, all he cares about right now is winning the next match. We're not in a title race. We're going to go into that today because I feel otherwise, to be honest. If we see Liverpool and Man City draw, it shows that Liverpool are human. If Man City win, then, well, maybe they're back in the running. So I don't want to entertain that too much. But today, we're going to go through my Chelsea starting 11. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the performances that we saw on Thursday night in Heidenheim and discuss a little bit about who could step up into the first team. And you'll see when we go through my Chelsea 11 that I've actually taken some of the players that performed, and I think they should be starting, even though it was an away game in Europe. Aston Villa, they're really struggling right now. And I think what we're going to see at Stamford Bridge is a very open game. I think if Aston Villa are smart, if Unai Emery is smart, which he is, I think he's one of the best managers, one of the hardest working managers in the Premier League. I think Aston Villa's way to come and approach this game is to sit back. I think Villa need to absolutely sit back, frustrate Chelsea, low block, but at the same time, I think we've got the answers to that now as well. It's a fascinating match because Villa are so out of form. Chelsea have been in pretty good form all season, hence why we're in the top 4. And with the match between Liverpool and City to come, a Chelsea win takes us above Man City, puts us very comfortably into second place in the Premier League. Now, before we go into the team selection and talking about that game on Thursday night, I want to discuss Enzo Maresca's pre-match press conference comments. And there was only 2 journalists there, not sure what was going on. But Maresca was asked about whether or not Chelsea are actually in a title race. And as he said all season, Chelsea are not in a title race. He says that Liverpool, Man City and Arsenal are better than us. And I would say right now, I do agree with it. Obviously, Man City are in an absolutely chaotic, catastrophic, cataclysmic run of form, having not won in 6 matches, 5 of those being defeats. But it is Man City. It's Pep Guardiola. Maybe this really is the wheels coming off, and this is the end. And if you watch Pep Guardiola's pre-match press conference for this Liverpool game, he looks concerned. He is very worried about what's happening at Man City. Liverpool are in a league of their own. Arne Slot has come in. And to be fair, this shows how you do a transition to a new phase or a new project at a football club. Jurgen Klopp, as much as it was only 1 Premier League, 2 Champions League finals, 1 Champions League trophy, the way that he took Liverpool from where they were with flipping John Joe Shelvey in their midfield to being European champions, being a dominant force in the Prem, and the way that he handed it over to Arne Slot is incredible. And that shows how when you make drastic changes at a football club, it doesn't always go the right way. Sir Alex Ferguson leaving Manchester United, look at what's happened to them. They're on Ruben Amorim now, the last hope. You look at Arsenal with Arsene Wenger. Slowly, Arteta's got it cooking, but it's still not there. They've still only got an FA Cup to show for it. And I think Chelsea are in that phase now of this programme or project or whatever it's been coined as. I hate those terms, but Chelsea are in that phase now where we've trialled a load of stuff, having shaken the glass massively or shook the glass massively. And now we're in this dust settling period. We're in this period where we've got a tactical manager who is smart, intelligent, working hard. We've got a young group of players that have been together for a while with some sprinkled fairy dust on top of that with the likes of Sancho, Neto from the summer. Chelsea are in a really settled camp right now. So Maresca says we're not in a title race. I think this is simply to allow the players to keep focusing game by game. The bigger picture, the conversation for him when he came into the club wasn't you got to win the Premier League this season. The same as it probably wasn't that for Graham Potter either, but we've been through that erratic time and now it's stability. Now it's continuous growth, and that's what Maresca shows with what he says in those pressers. So, looking forward to this game, right? On Thursday night in Heidenheim, there was some absolute standout displays. Firstly, Philip Jorgensen was magnificent. He made 11 saves And some of those saves are absolute blinders, by the way. We're talking about Manuel Neuer spreading the body out, making himself big. It was brilliant from Jorgensen. As well as that, Jadon Sancho, 5 assists I think it is now for Chelsea in 6 games, which is fantastic. He was brilliant, got himself 2 assists. I thought Mudryk, great finish again, but probably not quite ready yet for Premier League football. And then obviously, we have got the big debate about the midfield. Is it going to be Enzo and Caicedo? Is it Lavia and Caicedo? I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm still going backwards and forwards, thinking in my head about how do Aston Villa approach this game. They're on a dreadful run, 7 games without a win. I'm not sure if it was real or fake, but I saw some videos, like at the back of Villa Park or something, where they were booing. Maybe it's an old video, but I don't think Villa fans should be booing Unai Emery right now. If it is real, they get back in the Champions League. They're still close enough to European places right now, but what do you expect? You've not spent loads of money, and you're playing in the Champions League against tough opposition. They've already faced Bayern Munich. They played Juventus at Villa Park on Wednesday night or Tuesday night. So Aston Villa are in completely uncharted territory. Yes, in their history, this isn't uncharted, but modern Aston Villa were in the Championship a few years ago. So the fact they're on this run isn't surprising, but it isn't to say that because Aston Villa haven't won in 7, that Chelsea do not have a difficult game on their hands, because we absolutely do. Before we do go into building my Chelsea starting 11, I know that Black Friday was yesterday, but the discounts are running on to this weekend. So, selected lines at the Chelsea Megastore have 40% off using the discount code BLUEFRY40. And as well as that, if you want to buy the kits and stuff that isn't on sale, GBFC10 is your discount code. So whatever it is you're buying in the Megastore this weekend in the lead up to Christmas, I got you a discount. Link in the description, QR codes on the screen. We begin building the Chelsea 11, and I was thinking, do I play it safe? Do I go with what Maresca's going to do, or do I stake a claim here for Philip Jorgensen to start? I absolutely bloody well do, okay? Jorgensen was magnificent. Sanchez has been inconsistent all season long, and I don't know what else a goalkeeper needs to do to show that he's ready to put that shirt on out in the Premier League in a game where he's going to have a lot to do. Philip Jorgensen made 11 saves on Thursday night. Chelsea weren't great. We absolutely conceded chances that maybe you could anticipate Sanchez saving as well, because as much as I don't like Sanchez as a keeper for Chelsea, he's a good shot stopper. There's been times where he's absolutely pulled us out of the mire. But I think Jorgensen should be given a start here. Sanchez has not done enough. Even in the last game at Leicester, there were moments where he was shaky, the distribution was poor. My questions about Philip was, is his distribution any better than Sanchez? And I think the answers were there on Thursday night. He looks comfortable, he looks confident, and also, when you put in a display like that and you make that many saves, a lot of them being big saves, you absolutely give yourselves a brilliant chance to get yourself in there with the confidence that you can deliver that form again. So I'm giving Jorgensen the start. I'm not here to protect Sanchez. I've not protected him all season, and I'm certainly not doing it today. We move into a Chelsea back 4. Malo Gusto's been training this week. We knew he wasn't going to feature on Thursday night, so Gusto comes back in for Fofana, Colwill, and Marc Cucurella. But it lines up with the formation today like a 4-2-3-1. There is the option, obviously, Gusto, we've seen it all season long, to invert. But when we move forwards, we've got Enzo and Caicedo in that midfield. Enzo Fernandez last week was magnificent. I think Lavia, I'm going to say this because a lot of you guys have kind of come at me this week for what I've been saying about Lavia. And I think you lot are right, I think Lavia, as much as the idea of Lavia is that he is more protective of the back line, probably more defensively astute, I think the reality is he doesn't offer enough going forward for Chelsea to be able to omit Enzo Fernandez from the team when his form has improved. I've said this all along about Enzo Fernandez. As long as that output gets better, and he worked really hard last week too, covered a lot of ground, but he needs to be showing that output going forward to warrant not having Lavia in the side. Because if Enzo's not doing anything going forward, Lavia is a stronger option defensively, in my opinion, than Enzo Fernandez. but we saw a goal and an assist last week from Enzo. He's clearly listening to the manager, arriving in the box and offering something in the final third. So with that, if Enzo Fernandez keeps doing that, Lavia stays out of the team. So that is my midfield. We move into the Chelsea front four. And after watching Jadon Sancho on Thursday night, I really want to see him in the side. I think with Aston Villa, we know that they like to play a lot through the middle. There could be times where they're exposed in the fullback areas, a bit like what we saw against Wolves. I expect this to happen a little bit here against Villa. But I think Felix plays on the left. Palmer in the middle. Pedro Neto, hallelujah, this man is back, on the right. And of course, Nicholas Jackson as the Chelsea striker. Because Sancho played so much football on Thursday, I don't think he's going to play. We've seen the comments from Maresca this week about Sancho needs to be mentally and physically ready. And I think these Conference League games are definitely the stepping stone to enable that in the long term. And I think Sancho is going to be very important for Chelsea. But today, considering Felix didn't start in the Conference League, that tells me that he's probably going to start with Palmer behind Nicholas Jackson for this match against Aston Villa. My score predictions. All right, I've got a funny feeling there's going to be goals in this one. And I'm going to throw out there a rogue prediction here. Chelsea 4, Aston Villa 2. I know that's wild, but sometimes you've got to absolutely push the boat out and prove that you're a footballing genius, okay? The goal scorers in this game, Cole Palmer's going to score 2. Nicholas Jackson gets a goal. Pedro Neto gets the other one. That's what I think is happening in Chelsea, Aston Villa. Stay tuned to the channel. Tomorrow, there's a big live stream coming your way. There's massive matches playing at the same time. I think Man United are also playing at the same time as Chelsea. And then obviously there's Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool at Anfield later on in the day. So tomorrow's a massive day on GBFC. The live stream graphics, if you tuned in to the Conference League stream against Heidenheim, we've got live data now. We've got live updating tables. We've got the team sheets. Everything looks really cool. So if you haven't tuned into a GBFC stream yet, I think this Sunday should be the one that you start. Aston Villa at home. The busy Christmas period begins now, and I'm all here for it. Delivering the content to you. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you in the live stream.